I fell asleep for a little bit, like a couple hours, and then like I woke up and like it wasn't really a dream. It was more of like I just woke up thinking about something. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I didn't wake up like from a dream. Like I woke up already thinking of something. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like like when you wake up and like you're not really thinking, you're kind of just like I don't know. I don't know about you, but like when I wake up in the morning, like I'm usually like, oh, I don't want to get up. And like I'm comfortable. Or like I just want to go back to sleep. But like when I woke up, like I was actually like thinking of something. Like it was so weird. But like it got me thinking some more, and like I just wanted to make a video about it cuz like I feel like it's important for me to talk about. And whether it's unfortunate or not, this video vlog YouTube thing for me has kind of become like a self-reflection period, because like I don't know, it's like easier for me to think things through out loud than it is to like think about them internally. So hence this YouTube channel. um but yeah, anyways, like I just woke up thinking about something and it was just like I don't know how I feel about it. Like it's kind of weird. But I think like recently I've been kind of like feeling a lot better from like my depression, and I haven't really been thinking about like my past all that much because I know that it's not productive and I keep like trying to focus on the future and like blah blah blah. We get that. I don't know, I just feel like recently like I've been like trying to like focus on the present and the future instead of the past and just letting go of the past. But a part of me like is still clinging to the unknown because like I don't think I really talked about this all that much, but like I don't know, I guess it's like really hard for me to remember my childhood aside from like I don't know what you would call them. Like they're like snippets and like blackouts of just like it's a memory, but like I can't see or hear anything. I just feel what the memory is. And then there are some times where like I can see what's going on, but I can't hear anything. And then sometimes like I can hear what's going on, but I can't like see the memory. Like I don't know, it's weird. And then plus like I have a lot of like differing memories like that I'm not sure if they're even real or not. Cause like for some reason when I was a kid I used to have like really lucid dreams. Like they used to be really like creepily realistic. Like you ever like in a dream where it like feels like reality but then it turns out it's not reality. Like I used to have dreams like that like every night when I was a kid. Like that was like my like night like thing. And it was like I don't know, like sometimes the dreams were like funny and sometimes they were cool, but a lot of times they just felt unsettling. Like I was like in an alternative reality because like I would be in like my daily routine and I would be doing the things that I do every day, but it just felt different. And then like that was the dream, like me doing everyday tasks, but it felt different and it was weird and it wasn't like me. Like it was so weird. Like um but and then sometimes like I would dream about things and like something similar had happened the day before, and then I would dream about the same scenario but a different outcome would happen. Or sometimes which was when it would get really freaky, because like I would dream like situations, and then like a few days or a few weeks later, like the almost identical situation would happen to the one that I had in the dream. And it was like so freaky. Like it was like deja vu times 10. Like it was so fucking creepy. So like, and then on top of that, like I was a pathological liar for like like all of my childhood. Like some would argue it was defensive. Okay, it possibly was. But like I also lied about pretty much everything, even the things that I didn't need to lie about. Like, did you eat ham or cheese today? I would say ham even though I'd eaten cheese. Like it was so weird. Like I don't know why I did it. I lied about every little thing. I mean, I guess I kind of know why I did it, but like I don't know. I just still kind of feel guilty about it. But like I just have to remind myself that like it was in the past. Like I'm not a liar now, so like I can just move on. Anyways, but pathological liar have like weird memory blackouts slash gaps, and then like I also like had those like weird lucid dreams as a kid too. And then like of course like there's the typical like with age your memory fades, you know? Like obviously not gonna remember everything. But like it's kind of weird how like I have to like I don't know, like it's kind of weird because like I can't really remember my childhood all that well because like there's the blackouts, then there's like the lucid dreams where I'm not even sure if like that memory is like a real memory or if it's like a memory of a lucid dream that I had as a kid, or if something that I could swear is real was actually a lie that I myself have started to believe because I just kind of at some point when I was a kid and a pathological liar, like it wasn't just lying to other people, it was lying to myself. And like I became immersed into my fabricated reality so much so that like the truth like is was kind of like skewed like in every like thing as a kid because I was so like it's so weird to explain, but it's like I couldn't see like the truth. Like it was like my lies were literally like becoming me. Like it was bizarre. Like it was I don't really know how to explain it. And so like I like I don't know, like I feel like really weird because like I know that I had a fucked up childhood. And there are things that I do remember about it. Like, I definitely remember, like, the 4 years that I lived with my mom in Ripon. And I do remember snippets of Elk Grove. And, like, actually, the reason that, like, I'm making this video is because I woke up remembering. Like, I think I remember at least to some extent, like, my whole life. Which is... Okay, wait, no. I don't know. Like, it's so hard to, like, put into words, like, what it was like for me as a kid. Because, like, so much of it was, like, fake. And so much of it was a lie. And so much of it was, like, purposefully blacked out or forgotten because it was too painful. And then again, like, some of it was just kind of, like, lost with time. So, like, I honestly really, like, don't have a clear recollection of my childhood. I remember that I was born on May 11th, 2001. by the time I was 3, my parents had already started fighting, and I actually remember them fighting. And supposedly, according to my mom, like, she moved away from my dad a few times, and then she would always come back to him. And then at some point, like, he just finally kicked her out and, like, locked her out of the house. And after that, we moved to Virginia. And we lived in Virginia for, like, a year or 2. And during that time, like, my mom and aunt were, like, heavily into drugs and alcohol and just did not take care of us. And I honestly, like, don't know what I would have done if I didn't have my cousin, because, like, as much as I fucking hated my cousin, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, taking care of somebody else in need, like, helps you as much as it helps the other person. Because, like, if I was alone, I, like, probably would have, like, actually run away, or, like, actually have started drugs, or, like, drink, or, like I said, run away, or, like, have done something, like, drastic that would have seemed rational in my terrified 6-year-old mind. But because I had my cousin who was, like, maybe 4 or 5, like, I felt responsible for her, because, like, they weren't taking care of us, so I needed to take care of her. And, like, she kept me grounded, and, like, I guess that was when the lie started, because I think the first time that I lied for her. Like, I lied for my cousin, because she's 4. Like, she doesn't understand what's going on, and so I, like, lied about the fighting and the drugs and the, like, craziness, because I wanted to protect her. And, like, I guess that's where the lying began. But it's also, like, where I think my, like, core character began too, because, like, I don't know, like, I learned, like, a lot of, like, I don't know, like, I just learned a lot from living in Virginia. Yeah, but, and then after that, my mom left Virginia with me, and, like, swore off drugs and alcohol. And at first I was kind of happy, but also really devastated, because, like, for, like, a few years now, like, all I ever knew was my cousin and the drugs and alcohol. And, like, my cousin was my world. Like, I protected her because, like, I needed to, and she was, like, the only thing, like, grounding me, making me feel sane. And then when we left, I was freaking out, because I thought I would be alone and my mom would be doing drugs and alcohol again, but she didn't. And I think this is where, like, a lot of my hazy memory, like, comes in. Because, like, from the age of, like, 6 or 7 to, like, 9 or 10, maybe, like, I think my mom and I lived pretty okay. Like, I think she stopped doing drugs and alcohol for the most part. Like, sometimes she would have her relapses, but she kept them pretty, like, quiet and in closed doors. Like, I mean, it obviously, like, wasn't as big of a secret as she thought it was, because, like, she thought she was being so slick and, like, so secretive when she would, like, randomly lock herself in the, like, bathroom or, like, her bedroom, and, like, he would hear her doing shit. And I was kind of like, okay. And honestly, like, those were kind of the most terrifying moments of those happy times, because, like, I remembered I was with my cousin, and like I didn't want to go back to that, and I didn't know if like she was gonna go back to that. But instead of me protecting my cousin, like I didn't like have anything. Like I was just gonna be alone. But then like it never got worse than her doing it in private. But she did start having like little manic episodes around that time, I remember. But she still had like a pretty steady hold on them, I feel like. So that it wasn't that noticeable. I just thought like my mom got like more angry or like more upset than most parents, but like I thought that was just like a thing that I would just have to deal with and it was fine. Uh, and I think I during this time I was still a pathological liar, but like I didn't really understand why. It was just kind of like habit. It's funny how like such a horrible strong habit happened in this like developed in the span of like 2 years and then had been with me throughout my whole childhood until I was like 13. Actually no, till I was like 16. So yeah, it's kind of bad. But and then when I was like 9 or 10, I was like on vacation with my dad and met my half brother for the first time. And I remember immediately being like unsettled by him. Like he was just one of those people who like you just didn't trust, you know? Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like it was just like intuition or something. And so like I didn't really like him. um which my dad got like upset about a lot cuz like he thought that I was being like insensitive. And then whenever my dad was like go out and leave to like do things, he would like have my half brother babysit me. Horrible, horrible idea. Let's just say that. And like as like his sexual abuse like got worse and worse until it was like I don't even it was bad. Okay, like it was bad. And um and then finally like my dad like caught us or something and like I remember I was freaking out because like I didn't know what to do and like I finally just like said he tickled me or something if I remember right. And then after that like my mom found out and she was like furious and like I think that was like the most upset I've ever seen her in my life, which is saying a lot. And like after that I think like it was a huge trigger for her knowing that I went through something like that. And she just like started deteriorating and like her secret drug moments or alcohol moments like got worse and worse. And then like the physical upkeep of the house and everything like got worse and worse. And then like her like manic episodes got worse and worse. And then like I started having to take care of myself more and more like on my own. And then finally like the last straw was she was like trying to go to therapy, I think, but it wasn't working out really well and she wasn't very cooperative. Surprise. And then she was officially deemed disabled by her therapist, I think, and like that really upset my mom because like she's kind of like me, she doesn't like sitting still. So she like immediately was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then so we moved from the house that we were living in on Elk Grove to like Ripon, which was the first mistake. um, and then like in Ripon it was like even more isolated and like no therapy was offered, nothing. of that kind of stuff was offered, like we didn't get the support that we needed, and her manic episodes just kept getting worse and worse, and finally got to the point where like she was catatonic and like wasn't able to take care of me or herself, and I was doing everything. And then at school, like I would get like bullied because like I wore the same clothes every day, like I stunk, like I smelled of cigarettes and sometimes beer, and just it was great. Like, and like yeah, I don't know. And like throughout this whole time, this whole like lifespan that I was just telling you about, like all these years, still a pathological liar, still lied about every little thing, still deflected everybody, like never let anybody get too close because I was like still scared. And like, I don't know. And then on my 8th grade graduation day, my mom literally like banned me from going to graduation. And at this point, like, to me, graduation like meant more than just graduating. It was like freedom, because like at this point I think I still had the whole like stigma of like, oh my god, high school is so much better than the middle school, high school is so much better than any other school that you're ever gonna going to, like high school you're gonna make new friends, high school is gonna be great, like romance, blah blah blah. But I think the biggest reason that I wanted to graduate and was so excited for graduating was I hated the school that I was at. I got no support from the school staff, the teachers, or the students because they would bully me. And in my head, like, going to a new school would change that. And, like, I don't know, like, it just, to me, it, like, started representing something, like, huge and, like, was a momentous thing. And then when my mom, like, banned me from graduating, like, I just broke. Like, I couldn't do it, you know? Like, was like, I just couldn't, like, do it because, like, I never asked for anything. Like, I think the last time I asked for something when I was, like, a kid was, like, during this span from, like, 7 years to, like, 9, I was kind of a brat because, like, I was upset and scared and didn't trust my mom because, like, I was not used to, like, the happy environment. So, like, to take advantage of that, I, like, was a brat and, like, basically pushed the limits to see if I could break my mom because I was so, like, distrusting of, like, her new, like, motherly and, like, overly affectionate behavior and, like, just nice home and environment that, like, I felt like I wanted to push the limits to, like, see where my true mom came back, not understanding that I should have been more appreciative and, like, actually treasured those moments with my mom. Um, but instead I was a brat. But anyways, so I think that was like the last time that I ever asked for anything, and ever since then, like, I'd never asked for anything, and this graduation meant more than anything to me, and like I begged her for to let me go to graduation, and she kept saying no. Even saying she wouldn't let me even go to school on graduation day because she didn't trust me not to, like, stay until graduation. Um, and then, like, and I think a big part of it was she was like, by this time, she was like in her full element and so, like, possessive of me and, like, paranoid of everything. And, like, she didn't want to miss a moment with me, but, like, she also was very, like abusive, you know? Like, she wasn't in her right mind, you know? So, like, she didn't want me to go because she didn't want to miss it, but she couldn't go because her social anxiety was so bad, and, like, she just wasn't, like, presentable, you know? So, but in response to her own insecurities, like she decided to like ban me from the one thing that I had been looking forward to. Like, and the only one thing that I wanted. Because at this time, I think I was like in the worst of like my depression and like dissociation and everything. Because like literally, I would just kind of like let people do things to me that like shouldn't have been done to me and not say anything and just kind of like phase out because like I couldn't handle it. And yeah, so I never really like wanted anything, and then this is the one thing that like made me feel anything. And so like I was like, that was like the one thing that I wanted, and she was taking it away from me too, and I couldn't handle it. Like I broke. Like I legitimately broke. Like I think that's when like every like thing inside me, like all of the like lies and every like little thing that I fabricated, like that whole reality just like split. And instead of feeling numb, I felt like angry. And like I felt like upset and like angry and like just furious because like I was like, you can't take this away from me because like it's the one thing that you can't take from me. And so it's probably not the best idea, but like I just couldn't handle it anymore, and I ended up like breaking down and talking to the few good friends that I had, and they were like extremely supportive, and they were like, oh my god, like you can't live with her, like that's not a good environment. And I was like, yeah, I know, and like blah blah blah. And then like they really helped me, and they kind of low-key kidnapped me. And like we went to graduation together, and it was probably like one of the best moments of my life to graduate with them and like spend time with them and their families. And like I was just like it was so nice. And then but after that, like they couldn't keep me, obviously, because you know, not family. So like if they did keep me, it would be actually considered kidnapping, so you know, not great. So they ended up moving in with me with my foster grandparents, which I was not that happy with, because like my foster grandparents are very religious. Like extremely religious. Like it's intense. Like would not be surprised if they had a dungeon and they had like weird cult like shit in the dungeon. Like I'm like, it's kind of weird. Like okay, a little bit intense. So yeah, and so while I was like living with my foster grandparents, like I just felt so conflicted because I was still angry with my mom, but I was still confused and scared and like was at war with myself because like I was still a pathological liar at this time, but like because of like that like breaking point when I graduated, or when I left my mom, like it was like the starting point of like trying to be honest with myself and trying to get to know who I really was, and like, you know, like being like a person that I could be proud of instead of like hiding in the shadows anymore. And like I just like was warring with myself during that time because like every day was the same thing, routine, like church every Sunday, like pork chops every fucking like night, like just it was like the same thing over and over and over, which was literally mind numbing. Like I felt like horrible. Like you know how I am. Like I love change. Like I can't stand the same thing over and over and over again. And here I was living with these two extremely religious older people who did the same routine every fucking day for like their lives. Like I was just like stunned that they're like even like how can you live with yourself if you're living in like a boring suburban house doing the same thing every day? Like that's horrible. That is like almost a living nightmare for me. Like that's probably second to a living nightmare for me. But like, just, good God. Like, fuck, man. Like, nah, not for me. So like, I hated the routine that when I lived with them for a few months, but I also loved it because like it was mindless, and so like I got to focus more on myself. Because like my whole life, or for most of my life that I can remember, like I've had to do a lot of like outward tasks, and like everything, my external environment was so unpredictable that I always had to be on edge and on the defensive. And then when I moved in with my grandparents, like I had time to work on like internal issues instead of external ones, because like the routine was the same every day and so boring that like it literally gave me nothing to do but to work on my own problems. Like, so like I had to face like a lot of stuff during that time with them. And I was like very conflicted because like I had like this old side of me that was like still the scared little girl, and like still the like pathological liar, and still wanted to like, I don't know, like a part of me wanted to like almost run back to my mom because A, I felt guilty, and B, it was what I was comfortable with, and C, I felt like that was what I deserved because like I just had so much like self-hatred towards myself. And I don't know when it started really, but I did, and it was just like incredibly bad. So like I was like so tempted to like leave and go back, but like yes, so at the same time I was terrified to go back and angry, and I like, I don't know, like I was warring with like the victim in me and like the real me, you know? And I just like kept having this like internal conflict over it, and like just I didn't know like what to do about it. And then finally like my dad like found out apparently about my, I think I'm gonna end the video here and then continue on another video because like it's gonna take a fucking long ass time. So we're gonna continue on the next video. Hold on.